Okay, so starting a new chapter, so get your title page, chapter 6. It's called the Pythagorean Theorem. Pythagorean Theorem. So pause this, get this written down once you have that dog-eared so you can find it easily in your notebook. And let's get going with notes. So, 6.1, Pythagorean Theorem. We gotta know what that is before we can do anything with it. And before we can do anything with it, we need to know some things about right triangles. Okay, right triangles are super awesome because we can do a lot of math with them. But before we do that, we need to know the names of the sides. So the two sides that make the right angle, we call those legs. And then the side that is across from the right angle, we call that the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Okay, there's some things about the hypotenuse that you need to know. First, it is always across from the right angle. Okay, so in this particular example, this is my hypotenuse because it's straight across from the right angle. In this one, this would be my hypotenuse because it's across from the right angle. And if I flip that around, that would be my hypotenuse because it's across from the right angle. Okay, and then it is the longest side. So let's say you don't have a picture of the triangle, but you have the length of the three sides. The biggest one is going to be your hypotenuse. Okay, so here we go. The Pythagorean theorem. There are a whole bunch of different ways to write this. What a lot of people do is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which is great, but you have to memorize what sides a and b are. I really like this one. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. That would be my go-to. Okay, so let's just jump right in here. Example number 1. You definitely need a calculator if you don't have one. We have 12, 16, and x. And we're finding the length of the missing side. So we always set up my equation. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. What are we missing, a leg or hypotenuse? Well, this is straight across from the right angle, so I'm missing my hypotenuse. It doesn't matter which leg goes first. So 12 squared plus 16 squared equals x squared. So now in your calculator, you can do this all in one step. 12 squared plus 16 squared. And you should get 400. Okay, I am not doing 12 plus 16 and then squaring it. If I do that, I get 784. It doesn't work like that. 12 squared plus 16 squared, 400. Okay, but 400 is not our answer because that makes no sense for this to be 400 whenever these are 16 and 12. So x is being squared. It's not just x. How do I undo a squared? I square root. So now you're going to find the square root of 400, and you get 20. So the length of missing side x is 20. So you add square root. That's it. Let's do another one. let's do this one as 8, this one is x, and this one is 24. Set up your equation. This time, what do I not know? Hypotenuse or leg? I'm missing my leg, one of them, because this is my hypotenuse. So I'm going to set it up. My first leg I see is 8 squared plus my other leg is x squared equals 24 squared. Now, I can't add these because they're on opposite sides of the equation, so I can't just do what I did up here. So I have to move 8 squared over here to be with 24. It's being added, so I have to subtract it. So that leaves me with x squared because that zeroes out. Now, once again, you don't just do 24 minus 8 and then stick a squared on it. You have to do 24 squared minus 8 squared. And you get 512. Then my last step, I have to undo that squared, so I square root. And let's go to 1 decimal place, so 22.6. Bam. So to recap, if you know both of the legs, you add them together with them being squared and square root. If you know a hypotenuse in a leg, you make sure they're squared, you subtract them, and you square root. And that's all there is to this. Okay, but we do have another type of example that you might see on your homework. Determine whether each triangle is a right triangle. Okay, so A, we have 36, 48, and 60. Those are the three sides they give us. We have to determine whether this is a right triangle or not. So I'm going to set up my equation. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Plug in my numbers. What's my biggest side? 60. So I know that's my hypotenuse. So 36 squared plus 48 squared. And then I'm just plugging this into my calculator. So, sorry about light. 36 squared plus 48 squared. I get 3,600. And then I'm going to do 60 squared, and I get 3,600. So that means this is a right triangle. Okay, let's do one more. 4, 7, and 5. So set up your equation. 7's my biggest side, so that's going to be my hypotenuse. It's going to be 4 squared plus 5 squared over here. I know 7 squared is 49, so then I just have to do 4 squared plus 5 squared, and I get 41. So, not a right triangle. Okay, so that is all you got to do for those. I guess I could have just put yes or no. I don't know why I made that so complicated. All right, that's it.